I mean, I want to get right into this with this whole, sad thing that happened to you this past week, with people who, we haven't been here in 2 weeks. Nick's sister passed away late last week, and I'm going to let him talk about that and tell that story. But he approached me and said, "Look, we do these top 5 countdowns. I'd really like to do a top 5 countdown that reminds us of our sisters, because I lost my sister 3 years ago, and now Nick recently losing his. And I was going through the songs, and I put together like a montage of songs when my sister died, and it's on my old laptop, and I didn't have time to go fire up the old laptop to dig through and get it. So I was trying to remember some stuff, and Jess was reminding me of some songs. And I went through and I looked through old photos to try to jar my memory, dude. And I just wanted to break down and cry. And I was just like, this motherfucker. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting night.
Dude, what? How you can't avoid it? You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen. You might as well embrace it. Like,
but
you guys ever wanted to hear us cry? Tonight's the night. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's something fucked up too. It was last Tuesday, because I was at work and I was getting ready to head to my shrink appointment last Tuesday, and my cousin called me, and he's fucking hysterical crying. I'm like, oh no, what happened? And he gets dude, he's like, I don't know, he gets these dreams, and dead relatives come to him in these dreams, or the angels come to him, or God comes to him. He has all these enlightening dreams and shit. My sister came to him, and he was taking a nap in the afternoon, and my sister came to him in the dream, and he's fucking, dude, hysterical crying. He's like, it was so real. She looked so beautiful. It was like when she was younger with the long dark hair. And my niece is listening right now. I didn't even tell my niece this because I didn't want to upset her. Because he had me fucking hysterical crying. And she said that she kept saying to him, look, I'm okay. Everything is okay. My parents are okay. We're all happy. We're safe. It's beautiful where we are. Just please tell my brother to take care of himself. There's something wrong, and he really needs to follow what the doctors are saying. It's not terminal. It's not going to kill him, but he's very sick, and he needs to listen to the doctors. Please tell him that. So I'm like a fucking bawling baby, you know what I mean? For so many hours. And yeah, so I mean, you're killing me, dude. Killing me. It's going to be an interesting night.
It was unavoidable. What can I say?
You know what, though? But you're right. And that's the way it should be looked at, is it should be avoidable, because it helps you to deal with it. But I'm good at avoiding things.
I'll tell you what, you probably don't expect me to say this. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I'm really excited to be here tonight. After the last 2 weeks that it's been, dude, I'm so excited to be on tonight.
That's good. I'm excited to be on, just to do the show and hang out, talk to you. It's funny, and I mean, we've talked about this. At times we're you know what, maybe we were at our welcome, or maybe we should just go on to the sunset. But every week after I do the show, I have such a great time and emotional release talking to you and building our friendship up, and just learning so much between us. It makes every week worthwhile doing, and it makes me want to go to the next week.
It's like a recharge almost. It kind of, validates what we're doing, and that's good, man. As long as we're getting something out of it, I think that's what people will respond to in the end. You know what I mean? They don't just want to hear two random dudes talking about shit they don't care about. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If they wanted to do that, they'd listen to the Crispy Noodle.
Shots fired.
Oh, there's no shots fired. Come on.
No. Love them guys. Actually, I wish they were still in the network. They were fun. They were good guys. They're doing some cool things too. So good for them. Happy for them.
That's awesome.
He was actually just on Preston and Steve the other morning promoting something. He does that game show marathon or something, 24-hour game show marathon fundraiser thing every year. Doing.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Good dude. He is. He's a real good dude. And you know what? Every time I hear the fucking Danger Zone, I think of them guys.
No, forever now they've ruined that song because it's all I think about.
It's great though. It's great because they made me enjoy that song. Like I hated that song for years, forever, but now I can listen to it because I laugh and I think of them guys.
Yeah, I gotta tell you right now, dude. Like my wife is sitting in the doorway of my man cave and she's just giving me the middle finger. I just gotta share it with you. She's pissed off because I texted her. I put 911 help 911, and she ran in here and said, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And I said, "Superman won't light up." She's "You son of a bitch, that's not an emergency. I ran in here." I was like, "Kate, a world without Superman is a world without hope. What bigger emergency could there be?"
The world without heroes.
Long story short, she picked Superman, but I might be sleeping in the man cave tonight.
Dude, you love torturing that poor girl. You really do.
You got to keep them on their toes, bro.
That's Saint Kate over there. So I mean, it's a trip that was really an emotional roller coaster ride and draining for you and the whole family last week. The one thing was we actually got to see each other again and have all of our family together, both of our families together, and we had dinner, and it was really an amazing thing, dude. I was so happy we actually got to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was thinking about this whole thing last night, and I never got a chance to say it to you because we were going so fast and things were moving so fast. But this all started when I was on the air for the last show. That's when I got the first text, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, you know what I mean? And it just sort of snowballed from there. By Saturday morning, we were on the road, and no looking back, man.
Yeah, you really wasted no time. I mean, it was like you were talking about it 1 second. Next thing I know, you're like, "Dude, I'm on the road." I'm like, "What?" We're in Texas. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
No, and it's crazy because from my end, it seemed like I wasted so much time. Like I waited 2 days before before we actually got on the road, and during that 2 days, it was like, hopefully people will understand this, but I've come to Pennsylvania 2 times before from Arizona for people that were not going to make it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, "You got to come see your uncle. He's not going to make it, dude." They said the same thing about my little brother, Adam. Like, "You hurry. He's not." Like, both of them are still alive 10 years later. So I wasn't trying to rush. You know what I mean? Like, I know how people get, like, overreacting, and I was trying to let it play out a little. I didn't realize at the time that it was as sort of serious, I guess, as it was. But it, for those of you that don't know, my you know what, dude? I thought about how I was gonna address this, and because of my own family history, and because of your family history, and because of our relationships with multiple different charities, like I just think I'm not gonna even like hide it. Like, my 34-year-old little sister had a heroin overdose and died. Like, there's no, it is what it is. It's something that there's a lot of people out there listening right now have also had to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's a nasty truth, but at the end of the day, it's a truth, and that's what happened. And I had to go to Arizona. I was fortunate enough that she was on life support and I got to say goodbye, but I have so much to say about it. Like, I don't even know where to begin, Bay. I could talk to you about just my sister. I could talk to you about the drive there, which was, sort of this horrible but also fun experience because I was sick as a dog at the time. I could talk to you just about the food that we ate going there and coming back. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, I could talk to you about the trip back, which ended up being amazing, and we stopped at some iconic landmarks, and like, there's just so much to unpack there. But at the end of the day, that was the core reason, and we shared a lot of sort of eerie similarities in both of our situations. So I thought maybe the music list was something. Our situations are uniquely similar. You know what I mean? It's almost eerie that we've been through this, but we've also, hopefully you feel the same way. But the other person has been there for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
When we
Totally.
really they needed to be. You know what I mean? Like, it was this. It was great. It was. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'll tell you what. The thing that really was like freaky, and we discussed it. And I was actually this past week in my therapy session. I was telling my therapist, and she was freaked out by it too. Was the whole, I mean, just the whole situation, like in general, like you know, the way I said it to my therapist was 3 years ago. The situation's going on with my sister, and my sister had moved from here to Phil or to Arizona, and was in Arizona and was dying, and I flew out there and I spent some time with her before she died, and I got to meet Nick for the first time, which I had been friends with for 3 years at that point, and we never actually met. And it was the first time I got to meet Nick and spend some time with him. Short time that it
Over
was
dinner.
over dinner, hung out, and went back to Philadelphia the next day and moved on with life. And my sister passed, and fast forward to modern day last week, and Nick's sister is in the hospital, and she's now on life support. And Nick and his family drive out here, and he spends time with his sister, and we get to have dinner and spend some, again, 2 hours of time bonding. And it's just only now the second time that we've spent time with each other and met each other is due to the fact that a family member or sister is dying, and Nick packs up and they hop in the van and they roll, and the next day his sister passes away, and it's just like, wow. Now the other weird fucking scenario in this whole thing is the night my sister passed away, I'm home and I was taping an interview with Vixen / Madam X drummer Roxy Petruzzi. And I'm taping the interview, and as I'm taping it, my phone starts to ring, and it's my niece. And I just knew that was the fucking call to
Right.
say he had passed. And I rushed Roxy off the phone and got on the phone with my niece, and that's what it was. So, in kind of a weird way too, that's kind of like brought a bond between Roxy and myself, and like I've interviewed her a couple of times after that, and I mentioned it to her and blew her away, and we remain in contact and shit like that. But the other night, last Friday night, I'm scheduled to interview Roxy again, and like literally 5 minutes before I get set to tape the interview, Nick puts the Facebook status up that his sister passed away, and I was just like, oh my god! It was just like, again, these parallels are just so fucking weird and cosmic, and it just there's the bond there, and even like my therapist, like there's like something there. She's like, I'm not sure what it is, but there's such a bond somehow, like it's like like the Batman verse and then the Arrow verse and the Flash verse and all, and there's the Nick verse and the Bay verse, and them worlds have combined.
No, and I think it was a really nice experience too, because my mother-in-law doesn't traditionally go out with us. She'll opt to stay at the hotel or something like that. And this time she came along, and my daughter sat next to your daughters, and I don't, and totally correct me if I'm wrong, but like there was no sort of like coldness. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, our families came together instantly. We just all talked.
Totally.
You know what I mean? chatted, we bonded over food, and it was an amazing experience. It was two groups of people that had never met before. Like, forget about the fact that this was just mine and yours only second meeting. You know what I mean? You've never met my wife, my daughter, my mother-in-law. I've never
Right.
met your daughters, your wife. They've never met anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bunch of strangers sitting down at a table together, and it was just an instant, 2-hour conversation.
And you know what? It was truly like one giant family getting together and having a meal. It really was, and I I,
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed it so much. And like looking across the table at you, and just I did it, like it broke my heart. Like I just wanted to give you a hug so bad, and I knew going through, and but it was like such a good feeling, all of us sitting down and having dinner. And I can't tell you enough how much I truly enjoyed it. And I'm glad you were able to like make it to see us and all and see each other. And it was just a really good time.
Yeah, and that's the way that I'm gonna choose to remember this trip. This was supposed to be my daughter's sweet 16 vacation. Like I had this whole thing planned. I was taking her to San Diego. We were gonna have a seafood feast. She was gonna be like a princess for a week because you only turn 16 once. And
Right.
like in my mind, it was like this ruins her 16th birthday. You know what I mean? Like not only is it a trip to Pennsylvania, but it's because your aunt's dead, and
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much of a gift it ended up being from my sister. Like I got a chance to reconnect with nieces and nephews that I haven't seen in a decade, with siblings that I haven't seen in 10 to 12 years, with people that I've never even met from my family. I got a chance to reconnect with the city. I got a chance to bring our two families together. I got a chance to go to some, honestly, like some bucket list level places while traveling across the country. I ate a ton of food. You know what I mean? Like my family had a blast every night. We stayed at a Motel 6 every night, and we bonded over an hour of Family Guy before we would all go to sleep and get up driving again the next day. It was like the running joke for 10 nights was we were always there watching Family Guy for an hour. And it was amazing, dude. I had I had so many amazing meals. I'm gonna tell you later on about maybe the best meal of my life that I had at a Charlottesville, Virginia gas station. Okay, like my sister gave my family a gift, and that was just reconnecting us. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that. Like it not just my immediate family, but my extended family, my totally driven family. You know what I mean? Like it's something that I never would have expected. And my daughter ended up having an amazing time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now the one thing I wondered, and I wanted to question, and I was waiting until tonight to ask, was like at any point especially while you're here, I would imagine, like, did you think to yourself, like, man, I want to move back to Philly?
We had two discussions on it. Two people have to die before that's a logistical possibility. Okay? Like there are two actual human beings whose lives would have to end for it to be safe for my family to move back to Philly full time. Like that it is just the way it is. You know what I mean? But absolutely, like we at one of them, the last time, the one out of the two times was at Chicky and Pete's. When we were looking at the menu right before you guys got there, and it was like, it's blue crab season. You could just get a dozen pick and peel shrimp. I'm like, yo, we are so close to the ocean. We can get such good seafood here. This is fucking
We're not in
bullshit.
the desert no more.
I said I'm not going back to the desert. Like it's
Oh shit! Oh, that's so funny.
that was
Yeah,
I shook my head and I was like, there's literally like you could at Chicky and Pete's for $20, you can just get a pound of crab meat.
and you know what, dude? Like, I'll tell you what. Like, people, some people will ban me on Chicken and Pete's because it's like a quote unquote chain. I mean, it's a small chain, local chain.
Me too.
What's that?
I've already listened to like 7 arguments from people from that message board you added me to.
I've seen some of them. I just crack up when I see you're chiming in on shit now. But
because
you know
they're chains.
Yeah. But Chicken and Pete's, dude, like 9 out of 10 times you're going to get a good meal, and the prices aren't bad, and you can get seafood there cheap. It's like for Mother's Day, we ended up going there, and I said to Jess, I said, you know what? You love seafood. My stepson loves seafood. Fucking go there and eat fucking like a pig on fucking seafood. Do it, you know? And yeah. And even that night, with all of us, dude, that meal was not that bad. Like if we would have went to Kitchen Consigliere, it would have been more than double that. But it's a whole other world.
Bro, like forget about it too. Like I went there, like in the car, we were talking. We were like, all right, my mother-in-law's like, yo, does this dude know there's 4 of us? Like, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yeah, relax. He knows how many of us there are. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm just gonna order the crab fries because that's why we were going. You know what I mean? Because I've never had them. I've never been to a Chicky and Pete's, and we get. Okay, first of all, before anybody orders, we'll take 3 orders of crab fries. I was like, well, shit, I need to come up with a plan then. But we ended up splitting this like lobster pizza that was like, it was insane, bae. It was so good that like, I mean, it was just giant chunks of lobster on a pizza. Like, how could it go wrong? You know what I mean? Like, oh man.
It's good stuff there. It really is. Dude, that fucking tailgate burger, boy. I'm telling you. I was hoping you were going to tailgate that burger. That shit is so good.
I had totally forgot about it, or I totally would have, dude. I love crab cakes.
Oh, dude. That shit is so good. So fucking good.
I was trying to get Becca to order the Krabby Patty, and she ended up ordering like a meatball parm, and she's never ordered one anywhere we've ever been in her life. You know, and she was like, well, I figured if I was going to have one, I might as well eat it here. You know what I mean? And she was like, dude, did you know it was like meatballs, but they were on like garlic bread? And I was like, yeah, she was like, it was amazing. Like,
that's funny.
It's too funny. Like,
yeah, how was her like whole experience, like the Philly experience? Because she hasn't been here since she was a little kid.
No, right. So, and it was multi-generational. Like, she got to see where I went to high school and my wife went to high school. She got to see our old house. We went to my grandfather's and visited him, and that was cool. But because my sister was in Temple University Hospital, which is actually where I was born, she also got to see her grandma's old neighborhood. And here's the thing, bro. Like, when her grandma lived there, it was an Irish Catholic, you know what I mean, neighborhood that had, like, everybody went to the same church. And now it's Germantown. You know what I mean? Like, so we're driving through Germantown, and she's showing us, like, well, where these 18 bums are, that's where the movie theater used to be. And for a nickel, you could get in, and like she's telling us all these stories, and we went by to see her, where her old house was. It was still there, and her school, Little Flower, I don't think that was there anymore. It was tore down, but it was interesting for her to get to see that and see how and hear about how much the city has changed since her grandmother was alive at a time where they would get ice delivered to their house.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, that was a long-ass time ago. Like,
wow.
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. She was amazed at the you know what I mean? Like, how some things changed, but some other things were still the same. She was like, my dad used to work there. I used to walk with him to work every day, and then I'd walk to school, and I was like, yo, and then you just walk to your school from here. I was like, I wouldn't get out of the car right now and run across the street for $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, this is the neighborhood Bruce Willis got dropped off in. You know, you know what I mean? Like, I was just, no, stop. Like, this is terrible.
Oh, that's
But
so fun.
her, it was also home. You know what I mean?
Wow. Oh man.
We went to this cheesesteak place that was there when she was a kid, man, like D'Alessandro's, and people rave about it. And she was like, "It's exactly the same as it was when I was a kid. How's that possible?" You know what I mean? I was like, because they were smart enough to recognize they had something people like, and they just didn't change. You know what I mean? Like, she was like, I can't believe it. It's amazing how it looks exactly the way it did, and you know. And I was just like, wow, that's got to be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, for somebody that at her age too, to be able to sort of come home and see with new eyes. You know what I mean? Like, that's a gift. I think it's
Absolutely. That's awesome.
yeah. Very cool,
I was sad
dude.
to see you go, though. I mean, I'll tell you what, like, after we got done chicken and pizza, we went in Termini's and we got some fucking cannolis and shit. And I was bummed to see you go, man.
Bro, those cannolis didn't make it to Virginia. Like, like they made it out of Pennsylvania and they made it into Delaware, but they never made it to Virginia. Like,
that's so funny.
But it was tough, man, because, like, you know, there's so many people that want to reconnect and want to say hi and you know, I wasn't really there for a social reason, if that makes sense. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to please everybody and you're trying to be at the hospital, and people don't even, you know, like, we couldn't even coordinate to get everybody at the hospital at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a real pain in the ass, but there were a couple things that I really, like, sort of set my mind to do. You know what I mean? Like, if there were things that Becca wanted to do, we made sure that she got to do them because it was part of her you know, thing or whatever. So she got to see the art museum steps. She got to see the Eastern State Penitentiary and Byberry. She got to see the Edgar Allan Poe house, and so, and then the last thing on her list is she wanted to go to this taxidermy shop in Philly that was, like, co-owned by, like, the drummer of Motionless in White and, like, some tattoo artist that won, like, a TV show a couple years ago. Like, that was her dream, and she got to go in and she was talking to the people there and bought some merch and stuff. You know what I mean? So it was a great experience for her. And then, like, we did some unexpected things on the way home. We made a few unexpected stops that were, like, just amazing. Graceland, I've been there once before. This time at night, it was all lit up, and it was like, if you've never been there, I can't explain to you that the place hums like there are places in this world where magic still exists, and that's one of them. Like, it's electric. I mean, like, you can feel it in the air that there's something special, and, like, I just sat there at the gates of Graceland, and I'm just breathing it in, and I'm watching these three ladies from England go nuts, and you know, people were writing their names on the wall, and I'm looking over the wall, and you see, like, Dan Aykroyd, like, in big gold letters, and I was just like, wow, man, like, this is, people know, you know what I mean? Like, and I was like, that's amazing. And then we went to Memphis Recording Studios, which is Sam Phillips' son's studios, and it was awesome, dude. Like, that's where rock and roll was born. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't exist before that place. Like, and you're talking about a place that brought in, like, one night, Sam Phillips is sitting there, you know what I mean? And he's like, he's got this young kid, Elvis Presley, this kid who came in to record a song for his mom's birthday because it was her favorite song. He didn't want to be a star. He was just doing something nice for his mom. You got Johnny Cash, the Man in Black, who, you know, came back from the war. And you had, oh man, you had the killer, Jerry Lee Lewis, who was just done running around with Stewart. You know what I mean? Like just, you had magic. And these guys sat there and they were like, you guys want to play some songs? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's millions of dollars in that room at the time, and they're just sitting around playing music, man. And it's just like, you know what I mean? You think back of like everybody that's been there since then, too. You know what I mean? Everybody from U2 to Chris Isaac, you know what I mean? John Cougar, like all these guys have they touched down there because they know there's magic there. You know what I mean? Like they want to record. And it was awesome because the place was closed. And we looked in what is really sort of like a museum part. It's got some equipment and lots of pictures on the walls. And that was cool. But we walked over to the Memphis recording studio side. And when I looked in the window, it was like looking back in time. Like there was just a little receptionist's table and a big glass window, and you could see right into that window, and that's where it all happened, man. That little room is where so much magic came from. And there was a dude in there singing, and he was recording, and he turned around and he waved at us, and then he went right back to doing what he was doing. I was like, that's awesome. Like that guy knows why we're standing here. You know what I mean? Like, and it was, I can't tell you how amazing of an experience it was.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I got dinner so bad.
And there's a lot of like Elvis merch there. There's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like you can go on his old plane, you can sit in his old car. There's lots of stuff you can do. But to me, that was just like the purest and free experience that you could have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I'll tell you, like, I see people that like go inside and do the whole experience and shit, and like even just looking at the pictures, like it like just sucks your breath away. You're just like, oh my god, it's just if those fucking walls could talk, really.
Yeah, it was amazing. And for the first time in my life, I saw a security guard who was like happy to do his job. Like, the guy came out of the tower and he looked around because there were like three of us standing there, and he was like, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh wow, that's cool. He's nice." And I was just like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "It's a beautiful house, isn't it?" And he's talking to us, and I was like, "Look, dude, I don't want to like desecrate anything, but like, could I just have a couple of the leaves that fell off the tree?" And he was like, "Sure, dude." And he handed me like 3 leaves. So I have like these leaves pressed in a book that fell off of the tree out front of Elvis's house. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome. And he was so cool about it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's
man,
awesome.
it was amazing, and more music royalty. I mean, I guess you can't really argue with it, but we went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, home of Dollywood.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So how was Dollywood?
Here's the thing. I never got to see Dollywood because the line to get to Dollywood is down one road, and it was 4.5 miles at a standstill waiting for people to get into Dollywood, which was, by the way, $72 a day per person.
Huh? Holy.
And there was a 4-mile lineup of people waiting to get into both Dollywood and the Dollywood Water Park. Like, it was insane. They've created, the town was built around Dollywood, and the town is now 10 times larger than Dollywood.
Holy
imagine,
shit.
imagine if you will, taking like Atlantic City's boardwalk and combining it with Disney World, except each individual ride and attraction is owned by an independent business owner. So you have like come ride down the lagoon and see the dinosaurs, and you have, you know what I mean, come to the Titanic and, you know, witness the crash firsthand. And even the merch places, the merch place that we stopped at was called Goats on the Roof. All they sold was bathing suits for people that were going to the water parks, but they just also had a dozen baby goats running around the store. That was their gimmick, and it was full of people buying shit they didn't need. You know what I mean? Like, there was another place that had a thing of sharks in it. There was another one that had two live alligators. There was like a Ripley's Believe It or Not style museum that was like the entire building was built upside down. It was trippy. Like, there was so many different attractions. You could do indoor skydiving. You could, you know, go-karts, race cars. There was every kind of food that you could ever imagine. You know what I mean? It was just an endless 20-mile experience of just all these places to eat, places to stay, and attractions. And like, I would honestly go back there for a vacation, having seen it now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
The world's largest indoor water park there. Lots of cool stuff, man. It was amazing, and the food was like, you're in Tennessee, dude. So it's like barbecue and Shoney's and just all the White Castle, all the good stuff. You like White Castle has a chicken and waffle slider that will change your life, son. You know what I mean? Like,
I won't go that far.
it was amazing. Like, I would definitely go back there for a vacation. Like, it was really cool, and there was like the world's largest knives and sword store is there. We ended up not going, but in Arkansas, there's a minefield where you can actually dig for diamonds. Like, you just pay to get in, and you dig, and whatever you find, you find. Like 3 years ago, some girl found a 6-carat diamond.
Oh shit!
Yeah, man, it's we ended up not going because I was, you know, trying to rush to get home at that point. But we stopped at the site of the Oklahoma City bombing so that Kate and Rebecca could see that. That was really amazing. It was eye-opening, and it was sad, and there were people there telling their stories on just a random, you know what I mean, Saturday.
Right.
And we were going to stop at Billy the Kid's grave, but we opted to go to this other place that had like live buffalo in their backyard because they wanted to see that. I've been to Billy the Kid's grave, so it's cool. I've already got my pictures of that. But it was cool, man. It was, you know, we went to New Mexico. We tried, you know, green chili, all this and that. Like, every state we were in, we tried to try like what they were famous for or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, Rebecca got to eat at Wawa for the first time.
See, all that, it just sounds like a fun, you know what I mean? Like, I've wanted to do that for so many years, just be able to, you know, drive across country and just experience all these little things like that, you know, you don't get to experience being just stuck in Philly or Arizona, you know what I mean?
If I had one of those like camper trailers that you could sleep in, I would totally try to go to every state. Like, that would definitely be something I would be into, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's absolutely. So the last story I'll tell, depending on what you want to hear, but the best meal of my life. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
$6, throwing that out there. Went into a gas station in Charlottesville, Virginia. All right. Walk up to the counter. I'm talking to this old black lady, like Mother Abigail from The Stand. You know what I mean? Like, if she was 200, that was a low estimate. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm talking to her, and she's, you know, being polite. How's your day and all this? So I look down, and I'm like, ma'am, is that catfish? And she's like, it absolutely is. I just made it myself. And I was like, well, how do you suggest that I eat that catfish? And she packed it all up for me, and it was 6 slices of catfish, deep fried and breaded. It was a giant helping of collard greens with, bacon and pork all in it, a giant thing of mac and cheese, and a buttery biscuit, man. And she called me over and she's like, come here, come here. She's like, I'm looking at you, and I know you like hot sauce. And she and I start laughing because it's true. And and she says, I make my own hot sauce. And she gave me her homemade hot sauce and her homemade tartar sauce to go with it. And I went out into the car, and dude, like we were inventing different bite combinations between me, Kate, and Rebecca. We were trying to get a little bit of it on every bite so that we could taste it all together. It was so good. Like the catfish it was like biting into a giant deep fried shrimp. Like it was so sweet and plump, but it was like crunchy and salty because of the breading, and it was just perfect with the, you know what I mean? Like I'm a sucker for collard greens anyway, and these were like some of the best in the world. They were smoky and bacony and vinegary, and it was just everything that you want it to be. As soon as you got too tired of the, you know what I mean, like the salt and the vinegar of the collard greens, you bite into the macaroni and cheese that was just like an avalanche of creamy cheese. And you got that like buttery, salty biscuit at the end. It was just like legitimately, it was one of the most delicious meals I've ever had in my whole life. Like the three of us shared it, and it was the first time I had ate like a complete meal the whole trip.
Holy shit! And it
Yeah.
was $6.
When it was $6, dude. And that included the mellow yellow that came with it.
That's fucking awesome. Did
yeah,
you go back
bro.
in?
Oh, absolutely. She was smiling. I got some, beef jerky for the road and stuff. And it was just like we just pulled off at a random stop, and we were like, well, we'll find a bathroom. And it was just a little rundown gas station.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like you transport that lady to like a kitchen in New York City, and it would be a hit. Like she's just cooking her ass off. But again, man, I like I said, my sister, like that was a gift. Like it was all magical. You don't get a meal like that out of a gas station in Virginia without a little bit of good luck. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
That could easily turned into a Buffalo Bill type situation.
Now, how about one thing you had posted, and I was waiting until tonight also to ask you about was the CBD oil.
Yes. The CBD oil saved us, man, because the 4 nights that it took to get from Arizona to Virginia were terrible. Like I'm, sleeping with my back against the wall, staring at the door. I got my wife, my daughter, and my mother-in-law with me, and I'm just know we're gonna be victims of some, interstate serial killer. You know what I mean? Like I'm worried every night. My stomach hurts. I've been throwing up everything that I eat. Like it was a bad way to leave on a 4-day trip, but it was just I had to do what I had to do. You know what I mean? And I took some when I got in the car after splitting up with you, and like immediately the fire in my stomach went away. I could feel the oil coating everything as it went down. You know what I mean? And then I think we stopped in Manassas, Virginia, and I remember laying down on the bed and everybody's watching Family Guy, and it was the craziest thing because there were like mating bullfrogs everywhere. And I just remember laying there and like I wasn't stoned or high or anything.
Yeah.
I was just relaxed. I was just ready
Mm-hmm.
and comfortable in bed. And I just remember closing my eyes and listening to the bullfrogs. And when I woke up in the morning, you know what I mean? Like there was no anxiety, there was no worrying about serial killers, and it ended up making it that much of a better experience. I drove the entire distance of Pennsylvania to Arizona. Helen and me didn't switch once.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it made the entire trip, and then I started eating a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Good.
All of a sudden we get to a Sheetz or a gas station or a Wawa, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Let me get a shorty, and I would eat half of it. And then we got to Virginia, and I ate that big meal. And then we got to Tennessee, and we stopped at this little barbecue place, and I got like the Pit Master Special, which was like a little bit of 7 different meats. You know what I mean? And I ate all of that, and like by the next day, I was like, okay, now it's on. You know what I mean? Like we still got Oklahoma, New Mexico. You know what I mean? Like we Texas. It was yeah, it was on, and by the time we got home, like I think I wouldn't say my stomach is necessarily better, um, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was a week ago.
And now, you know what's scary? Like that fucking that little thing that bottle I gave you. A friend of mine
Yeah.
gave me 2 bottles of those. Um, and she said like $5 for those. And the bottles was buying were literally a quarter the size of that bottle. I was paying $50 fucking dollars, dude.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It was good, man. It was a nice experience.
Awesome.
And hopefully which will be the beginning of the end of all this stomach nonsense. Tomorrow morning at 9:30 I get my damn scope done.
Oh, okay. So now this is
Yeah.
the first thing you've had done since you've been back?
We came back Monday. I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. Um Wednesday I forget what that one was. Oh, that was the gastro. I went in and I met with him, and he's like, "Fuck it, dude. We're gonna do a scope on Friday." And then today, Thursday, was supposed to be my CT scans, but I was throwing up this morning, so they rescheduled it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. But the guy seems to think that after the scope tomorrow, they'll have a very clear idea of what's going on.
Nice. Nice.
And he was like, dude, I'm going to come in. We'll put an IV in you. You're going to fall asleep right away, and I'm going to be in and out within 5 minutes.
Yeah, dude, you won't feel a fucking thing. You really won't. You'll get a good fucking sleep too.
So you know what I mean? I'm optimistic. I'm a little nervous, but it'll be all right. You know what I mean? Like,
They'll probably give
hopefully
you
it
that
means
purple paw shit, whatever it is, that Michael Jackson shit.
exactly what they're giving me. He told me he was, you know what I mean? I told him, I was like, look, dude, I'm not responsible. Like, if you get me angry in that position, like I can't control myself, and you're gonna get hurt. Like you don't have enough doctors here.
You won't.
And he was like, dude, like I'm telling you right now, like 99.9% of the people are happy. Like,
Dude, I'm telling you,
and I was like, okay.
I woke up after my colonoscopy and I was like, that's it? Like, it's done? Like, and I felt like, ooh, wow. Like, I want more. Like, he was on to some good shit. Like, he he really was.
I'm excited to get it over with.
Absolutely.
And he said they'll have answers right there. Like, I had to sign a paper that said the person who's going to drive me home, he can give the results to. Like, he'll have them as I'm leaving the office.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I had I started with my my shots last week.
Yes.
my meds, finally getting approved, and well, not even approved. The pharmaceutical company just decided to give them to me. So they're giving to me for 6 months. And shout out to Akhtar. And the nurse came over this past Saturday morning to teach because it's an injection. And
Yes.
I cannot do it. Like, there's no fucking way in hell I'd be able to do it. And you know what? Like, I saw when you got yours, like for the insulin, and your injection you do, and yours is like a little thing, dude. It's like a little fucking snap, and that's it. No, dude, this is an injection. This is like a real fucking needle going into your body and slowly injecting the drugs. Like, there's no fucking snap, crackle, and pop to this thing. So the fucking nurse comes over the other morning and sits down with the dining room table, and he shows you got to use the one needle that's thicker to suck the medicine out of the fucking jar, and then you got to change the needle and put the thinner needle on to put into your body. And it's a whole, and then you got to tap it, make sure there's no fucking air bubbles and this and that, and stick it in, and make sure you're not pulling no blood, and it's a whole fucking thing, dude. I was so close to getting ready to say, you know what, like, get the fuck out of my house. Like, I don't want it. I'm telling you, I was so close on the edge to fucking tell him, just get the fuck out. Like, I love you, but get out. Like, this guy, he was so fucking patient, so nice and helpful, and like a really smart dude with the fucking drug and shit. Like, he knew all this shit. But I wanted to just throw him the fuck out. I really did. I was so on the fucking edge of vomit and just pure scared and petrified. So, like, we do the injections in. Literally got to rotate, like, you can do like stomach, thigh, whatever. So I was like, all right, we'll do my thighs. We'll do my thighs first, and then we'll do the stomach. So the first one, she did my one thigh, and I just turned my head and just fucking held on for dear life, and I'm like, I don't feel a fucking thing, and I didn't feel a fucking thing. I was like, holy shit, that's not too bad. Like, as long as I'm not looking at it, I'm good. And so yesterday was my second injection. I have to get it done twice a week. And, dude, I was like a nervous fucking wreck, because all I kept thinking was the days leading up to it is she going to remember how to do it? Is she going to remember, like, how to change and do this and that? And, you know what I mean? Like, in my fucking head, I'm like a basket case. And so I went to work yesterday morning, and yesterday was a fucking crazy day. So I went to work, and then we had the movie premiere thing last night, and I had to buy clothes, and I didn't have fucking clothes, and rushed to find fucking clothes and get home. And then I had to, like, upload my work, and as I'm uploading my work, she's like, all right, are you ready? I'm like, like, I just wanted to submit, dude, and say no.
Hell
Like,
no.
I quit. I fucking know. And next thing I know, she's out in the fucking kitchen, and she's getting the needle ready. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. And I just sat there on the couch, and I just fucking turned my head and just, like, held on for dear life. And I'm like, I don't feel a thing. I don't feel a thing. Like, I can't praise her enough and thank God for her enough, because I would be fucked without her. I really would.
So you don't
no way
see any scenario where you'd be able to give yourself the shot, right?
Negative 100. There's no way. There's no fucking way I would pay the $50 a shot to go to my fucking doctors for the copay. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would not be able to do it. I mean, I can't tell you how sick I was feeling yesterday. Like, I was like almost in tears, basket cakes. I was so nervous, scared, upset. Like, I was just like dreading it. And I mean,
now, how long will it take for that to stop?
That's a good question. You know what? Like, and I even said to Jess yesterday, because she could see it on my face, and then, like, she's upset and nervous because she thinks she's hurting me, and she's not. And I'm like, look, I'm a fucking pussy. Bottom line, I'm a pussy. Like, you're sticking a needle in me, and I could not do that myself. And it's going to take me some time to get through it and used to it. I mean, it's been
Right.
2. So, like, I've gotten through the leg part. Like, now the next thing is, now we have to go to the stomach. So, like, it's gonna be all over again now Saturday when it's fucking shot time on Saturday. Like, I'm gonna be like, all right, here we go again. It's definitely gonna take a while before I get used to it. I mean, I at least easy a fucking month, I'm gonna say.
That's not too bad though. I mean, a month that's a good curve, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's it's not like where you go to a doctor's and like every like once a year or whatever, and they take the fucking give you a needle and take your blood or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like this way it's consistent. So, but actually, it's funny because I was actually just saying to her at dinner, I'm like, well, this is my fucking plan in my head, like, because as I was talking to the nurse on Saturday, and he was describing, asking me questions on how I feel, and I'm telling him. And he's like, dude, are you sure you're not diabetic? He's like, because your symptoms. And then he started describing like diabetic symptoms. I'm like, dude, that's how I feel exactly. It's exactly how I fucking feel. He's like, it couldn't be the sarcoidosis. He said, but you could be diabetic on top of it, which is making matters even worse. So,
and with like, and you would also feel a different way because of like antibiotics, because of steroids. Like each one of those things comes with different, diabetic type side effects as well.
right. So, like, so I said to Jess at dinner tonight, I said, look, I said, here's the fucking plan. I'm like, as a matter of fact, tomorrow, call my normal doctor and be like, hey, I'm due for I usually go every 6 months for a checkup, and they check my blood and that shit. So it's like, all right, let's get that done. Like set it up for like in 2 weeks. This way that this new drug is going through my system and it's there, and get that done, run the blood test and all that, and then have the results sent to him and my pulmonary doctor, and then schedule something with my pulmonary doctor for after that. This way I can sit with both of them, each one, and see what they say and take it from there and see how I feel. But the weird thing is, like, after the injection yesterday, like last night, I felt pretty good. And even today, I felt really good this morning. Like, usually as of late, when I get up, I mean, I'm usually up by 6:30. And I just lay in bed and watch the news for a little while until like my daughter gets situated off to school and I'll get situated for work. But I've just felt so, even when I come down after a shower and everything, like I'm just so done in and exhausted and can't function. And
Right.
today I felt just good. Like I got a shower and I'm like, wow, like I feel kind of good. And I felt pretty good all day long until about 1:00. And then it was like I hit a wall and I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And I've been pretty tired the rest of the day. But, I mean, I got like a half day of feeling good, which is rare, especially considering I was up late last night. So, yeah, fingers crossed, good things to come.
It's good though that you're responding to it. You know what I mean? That you're at least feeling the difference, so you know that something is working.
Yeah, I mean, the nurse said it would take a good 2 weeks to be full effects, but today was the first time, like the past few days, I really felt no better. Actually, probably even worse some days. But today, I can honestly say was the first day like I really felt. Like I know from when I've been with this prednisone, like when they put me on the high doses of it, like it's it's like fucking doing a drug. Like oh my god, like everything is just so clear, focused, fucking like almost like I'm probably doing like coke or something. Like I'm so hyper and just want to do stuff and happy and excited. And then as I wean off the fucking prednisone and lower my dosage, it's like back to reality. But I mean, I didn't have that full effect today, but I had like a little bit of it, and I was like, okay, like I'll deal with it. Like a little bit is 100% better than what I'm feeling normally. So like, please, I'll deal with it. Take it. Give me it.
Oh wow, man.
So we will see.